Developing story in Stourbridge in the West Midlands, where several homes are on fire this evening as wildfires spread. This is the scene live over the town in the past few minutes. In fact, it is live right now. More than 60 firefighters are on the scene to tackle the blaze, and our helicopter has also managed to capture multiple fires in Stourbridge in the West Midlands. These pictures clearly show smoke billowing and flames coming from a house in the area that was completely...
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Please set ablaze by the wildfires, which have, as local residents have described, it as jumping across roads. Now, there were evacuations in this area, police evacuating residents from this area as a precaution. But the West Midlands Fire Service certainly have their work cut out. 60 firefighters, we understand, are on the scene battling flames. It was a wildfire that also involved a golf course and fields in the area, but then, and as you can see, properties started to be affected, and you can see at least 3 properties there already affected in that particular area of Stourbridge. And a major incident has also, I'm being told, been declared due to a large fire in Salford Priors in Stratford-on-Avon, with residents urged to close all doors and windows there. That's according to Warwickshire Fire and Rescue Service. But as I say, a real problem for the fire service in Stourbridge because there are several properties now, we're being told, on fire, and you can see 2 of them right there in these extraordinary pictures from the Sky helicopter.
Very good morning to you. Millions of people across the UK were sent an emergency alert last night with a warning not to light anything that could spark a wildfire. A lot of people were caught off guard by the alert. It lasted 10 seconds, making that loud siren noise, even on phones that were set to silent. The alert warned against any sort of activity that could start a fire, using things like disposable barbecues. It was sent to people across the UK, including Wales, but initially only in Welsh there, which meant some people didn't know what was going on for several minutes. Well, that rather loud warning came as firefighters continue to deal with several fires across England and Wales. The PM said the UK is a tinderbox, but added we can't accept what's happening as the new normal. In Stourbridge, in the West Midlands, multiple homes have been either destroyed or severely damaged. Joining us now, Chair of the National Fire Chiefs Council, Phil Garrigan. Good to see you, Phil. Appreciate you sharing your time. Talk to us about the state of play at the moment. What's happening?
Yeah, look, we've still got 3 major incidents declared across the UK. So 1 in Wales, 1 in Hampshire, and 1 in Stourbridge, 1 in the West Midlands. So we've still got crews deployed into those areas, both at a local level, a regional level, and a national level. So we're still, in kind of high spate conditions. But as you'll be aware, we've had 11 major incidents declared over the course of the last kind of couple of days, the last 48 hours, which has stretched fire and rescue services resources considerably. And so every fire and rescue service in the country is still dealing with the threat of wildfire. And even last night, we had over 43 wildfires occur across the UK in the last 24 hours. So we're very much still in the thick of it, and we're very much still on the front line of climate change.
How does this year compare, or does it not compare?
No, it doesn't really compare. It's close to 2025 figures, but we've surpassed them, and it's only August. So we're anticipating it being considerably higher than it was in 2025, and that was the highest number of wildfires on record. If I kind of reflect back on my career in the Fire and Rescue Service, 2018, we had Saddleworth Moor, Winter Hill, significant incidents there, probably the first real kind of wildfire threat that we'd kind of experienced across the UK. Then you fast forward to 2022, hottest day of the year, 14 major incidents declared over that period, which we thought was unprecedented at that time. Then 2025, as I say, highest number of wildfires on record, but that has been surpassed in 2026. And to put that into context, since January, we've had 24 major incidents declared due to wildfire and the demands that's placed on the Fire and Rescue Service as a result.
The Prime Minister is pledging to make sure you have the resources you need, and has kind of acknowledged that perhaps at the moment we don't have all the resources we need. What do you make of the comments that have been made by Andy Burnham in recent hours and recent days?
Yeah, look, really welcome them, to be fair. I sat through the COBRA with the Prime Minister, where we focused in on the wildfire threat. I think it's acknowledged, it's understood, and I think we're seeing kind of really deliberative action from this government. We've already received about £1 million worth of investment to build a wildfire capability that we can deploy nationally. But I think more recent events has demonstrated that we're still a little bit behind that curve. And the kind of comments from the Prime Minister and the Secretary of State in respect of investment and reinvestment back into the Fire and Rescue Service is very much welcomed by Fire and Rescue Services the length and breadth of the country.
If the PM was to sit down with you and say, Phil, I've got a blank cheque, I've got a chequebook open, and you can have whatever money, whatever resources you need, what would you say to him is your kind of ideal wish list?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, over the course of the last 48 hours, there were times when we struggled to be able to provide the resources that Fire and Rescue Services required. So we were getting requests for fire engines and firefighters predominantly to support firefighting operations in a number of locations across those 11 areas. So first and foremost, we would want to see kind of investment to ensure that the capability, we've got the right people in the right place at the right time to deal with the kind of foreseeable threat, because it is foreseeable. This is the new normal for the Fire and Rescue Service. But we've also had kind of conversations about building on that national capability that's already seen some investment to A, sustain it, and B, enhance it, so we've got the ability to mobilise nationally to support locally. And we are also having kind of conversations and clear indication from governments that we'll start to explore the potential for an aerial firefighting capability to be able to be utilised across the UK to kind of be directed by Fire and Rescue Services to support firefighting operations. Now, that might not be applicable everywhere, but it certainly would take some of the pressures off Fire and Rescue Services and certainly would deal with fires in geographically difficult areas more effectively than we currently have available to us.
And that was quite publicised during the Dunwich Heath situation, that the National Trust ended up kind of tendering, renting a helicopter to provide aerial assistance. From that respect, what would you like to see? Is this helicopter provision? Is this aircraft? Is this a mixture of the two? And how much support is there from government to give you that resource?
Yeah, look, we've had very positive indications from government, and we need to kind of explore what is the most appropriate aerial firefighting capability for the UK. To recognise that the UK is not that similar in respect of the kind of the landscape to the likes of Greece, arguably even France and Spain. So we need to ensure that we are bringing in the right aerial capability to deal with fires. But we are exploring whether that would be, in the first instance, an ability to direct a helicopter provision with firefighting capability. Well, but that may well expand, and it may shift, and it may change based on some of the kind of work that we need to do to ensure that we've got the right kit and capability to reflect the risk in the UK.
How important has kind of inter-agency relationships been in recent weeks, and even beyond state agencies to people like farmers, for example, land managers and rural communities who have often turned up, you kind of talk about accessibility, who've turned up with tractors and bowsers and trailers and kind of supported you guys in your work. How important is those relationships, and where can they be furthered?
Stourbridge wildfire emergency unfolds across the West Midlands. Good evening and welcome back. If you are joining us for the first time, allow me to introduce Britain Underneath, your essential hub for sharp analysis and real-time coverage of the defining political and social developments reshaping the United Kingdom. Before we examine the extraordinary situation developing in the West Midlands, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support is vital in keeping this independent channel going, so please subscribe now to support our work, stay informed, and never miss an update. Now, let us dive straight into the heart of this unfolding story. Terrifying scenes are emerging from Stourbridge in the West Midlands today, where a rampant wildfire has crossed critical thresholds, leaping from dry grass and woodland straight into residential neighbourhoods. What began earlier this afternoon as a blaze near Stourbridge Golf Course quickly escalated into a major emergency. Driven by scorching temperatures and severe dry conditions on what has been recorded as the hottest day of the year so far, the fire has spread rapidly across roads, encompassing an estimated 40 acres of land and engulfing multiple homes along suburban streets. Official reports from the West Midlands Fire Service confirm that at least 6 residential properties have been severely damaged or completely involved in flames, though aerial footage from emergency helicopters suggests the damage could be even more extensive. Over 60 firefighters, operating with dozens of specialist appliances, are currently on the scene, battling the blaze under incredibly difficult conditions. The flames have swept across key roads, including Racecourse Lane and Outy John Lane, creating a fast-moving front that has forced emergency services to execute urgent evacuations. The human impact of this event is immediate and profound. Stourbridge Town Hall has officially been converted into an emergency rest and reception centre to accommodate displaced residents who were forced to flee their homes as the flames advanced. Local authorities are actively organising transport for vulnerable individuals and families unable to make their own way to safety. Meanwhile, medical crews have treated multiple casualties for smoke inhalation and heat exhaustion, while emergency responders work endlessly to secure the perimeter. This disaster has sent immediate shockwaves through the region's infrastructure. Northbound lanes on the M6 motorway were temporarily closed due to dense, blinding smoke blowing across the carriageway, creating severe traffic delays. Rail services between Stourbridge Junction and Hagley have been halted, and power outages are being reported across surrounding neighbourhoods as utility lines sustain damage. Fire chiefs have issued an urgent plea to the public, asking people to stay away from the area, avoid travelling to view the fires, and keep windows and doors closed to guard against toxic smoke. The crisis in Stourbridge is not an isolated event. Across the West Midlands and broader parts of the country, fire crews are being stretched to their absolute limits. In Warwickshire, emergency services declared a separate major incident as wildfires threatened outbuildings near Stratford-upon-Avon, while additional blazes have broken out in Staffordshire and parts of Wales. The sheer frequency and intensity of these incidents highlight a growing strain on national infrastructure and emergency service capacity during prolonged seasonal heat waves. If you appreciate grounded, reliable coverage on critical events affecting communities across the nation, please consider subscribing to Britain Underneath right now. It takes just a second, but it makes a massive difference in helping us deliver timely news and deep political commentary directly to you. Please hit subscribe and join our growing community today. For residents in Stourbridge and nearby areas, local leaders and emergency teams are urging extreme caution. Neighbours have begun rallying together, offering shelter, food and assistance to those displaced, demonstrating remarkable community resilience amidst the disruption. However, with high temperatures expected to persist over the coming days and no immediate rainfall forecasted, the risk of reigniting or new fires starting remains exceptionally elevated. The situation in Stourbridge serves as a stark reminder of the increasing pressure placed on public services and local infrastructure during extreme weather events. As emergency crews work through the night to bring the flames under control and support affected families, we will continue to monitor developments closely and bring you verified updates as they emerge. Before we conclude, please take a breath and take care of yourselves and your loved ones during these difficult times. Staying safe and staying informed is more important than ever. If you found this update helpful, please plead your support by subscribing to the channel. Supporting Britain Underneath helps us continue producing independent, high-quality content for you. Do not forget to subscribe, share this video with others who need to stay updated, and leave a comment with your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and be sure to return for our next report as we continue to track the stories that shape Britain underneath.